everyone, I'm Kim.
And I'm Kat.
And this is Kim and Kat Read a Book. I don't know why that cracked me up
It's so funny every time.
To start with, we read, for this last month, we read The Shining. Just let me cover these other two ones up. The Shining by Stephen King. Stephen King is one of my favorite authors, and I like horror books in general, so I enjoyed reading it. But to start with,
we talk about our knitting. It's shocking, I know. We did some knitting. What is shocking, and one day I will not do this, but I left my knitting in the knitting store again overnight, and I didn't think about how I needed to show it today. So, but I'll just tell you about them. So I'm still, yeah, there you go. I'm still working on my poncho, which that's why I wore this. This is what it's going to look like when I'm done.
so many colors, so many patterns.
Yeah, it's, I'm doing it with Malabrigo Rios, which I think I've said before, and this is a pattern by Casapinka. Now what Carol told me, which after our last episode, was she's like, you didn't talk about how you know Casapinka and you've met her.
My God, you had a name drop and you didn't even do that?
I know, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah, her name's Bronwyn, and Carol and I went on a cruise, a knitting cruise with,
That's right.
where she was like one of the teachers. And so this is one of the patterns that we made on the knitting cruise.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so anyway, this was really fun. You can kind of see it's got like lots of different, I mean, it's very Casapinka. But it keeps you interested.
Yeah.
Because it just changes all the time.
And it's consistent change. Like, it's not like you do the pattern and then you just knit an increase. It's like, it jumps around and it brings you back. Because, like, you can see the repeating parts. So, like, if you get overwhelmed by this red strip, you'd be like, okay, I know a familiar thing is coming up. And that would be a comfort right now. What I'm working on is an abomination. No, it's not coming out like I expected to. It looks so much better on the camera.
I was just gonna say
what the
that.
heck? Okay, so this is the field sweater. Oh my gosh, I can't remember whose pattern it is, but I will include it up there.
Is it Camilla Vaz?
Yes, it is. I'm glad you remember that. I did not. It looks so much better. You can see
That's
the individual
awesome,
grains.
though.
Oh, I am so happy. Because last week I was in the shop and I was slogging through. Like, it is, I don't know if it would be easier, but I don't have a cable needle, so I'm just using a DPN to do it. But each one of these requires however many grains, requires a DPN or a cable in the front, and then a cable in the back, and then a cable in the front, and the cable in the back for every single one of them. And so it makes me want to die when I'm doing it. Like, every single one of these, I'm sitting there like, oh God, I gotta finish this row. I just gotta finish this row. And then once I get there, once I do that, it will just be straight knitting. So I think I have like 20 more rows of this, and then straight knitting.
So you're like halfway there.
Yes, halfway there with the patterns, which, thank God. And I was so willing to pull it out because I was like, you can't see them, you can't tell at all what it's supposed to be, and part of it is the variegated colorway, which it is Ryan yarn. I love Ryan yarn. The amazing colorways, and he was at the shop 2 weeks ago, and I didn't go that week, and of course that's the week he shows up, and I don't get to say, hey, I love your yarn in person. But whatever.
He'll be back.
He'll be back eventually one day, and maybe that'll be a day I show up.
Well, I feel a little bad because I'm the one who suggested the pattern.
Oh, I am, especially now seeing it, I'm very happy with how it's coming out. Like, I'm glad that it shows up so well on camera.
Okay.
Because it means that I am doing it right. And that's what I was worried about, because the videos I was watching, they weren't using
Continental is the one where you just hold the string.
They were picking.
They were picking, and I'm not. So I was like, if the physical way that I knit is making this pattern not work, then I might either need to learn how to knit a different way, which is a whole nother task, or just abandon this project, or like deal with it not looking like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
But I guess trust the process is the motto for this one. Trust the process.
Oh. Yeah, because what happened was I traveled for work to Atlanta, and I went to the Craftivist, which is cute. It's a cute little shop, not far from where I was staying downtown. And I stumbled across this yarn. It's like got a Tweety. I should have brought a skein down, but it's like got a Tweety. It's Tweety. And
Tweety, the bird. No.
The bird. It's a tweed, and but it's like part yak, part something else. It is so soft,
right?
And I like touched it, and I was like, I need to make something with this.
This needs to be a garment.
I know, because I had picked up, because I like to buy something when I go into a yarn store, and I had picked up like a faded, like a ombre Malabrigo cake, which I had never seen before.
I didn't know you had cakes.
And so I was like, oh yeah, I'll make like a shawl or a socks with this. And then I found this other one, and I was like, no, putting the Malabrigo back.
Yeah, that's fair.
But when I went, I tend to not like to buy yarn anymore without like a project in mind.
Fair.
That's because my yarn stash is out of control. So when I went on Ravelry, I saw that somebody had made the field sweater with that yarn, and it looked really nice.
Yeah,
so I was like,
and
oh.
I mean, it would. To your point, it would probably be better if this was a solid color. But I bought this yarn without a project in mind, and it's the only like large quantity of DK weight yarn that I have.
Yeah.
That isn't like Michael's brand cheapy stuff. Yeah. So I wanted to make something good and decided to use this. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's turning out nice, and definitely the way it looks on the camera is encouraging.
Yes. And then the last, I gave everybody my hats. Luckily for the book club where I was passing out the hats, which I'll put a picture of all 8 out of the 9 hats that I did for other people. I took a picture. I didn't take a picture of the people wearing them because some of them didn't want their photo taken, which is fine, but...
you gave them out.
Yes, I gave them out last Sunday. And at that book club, and it was the book club for a book called The Goblin Emperor, mixed reviews from the group, but it is what it is. Only the people who were getting hats showed up. I know. There was no awkwardness or like a new person came in or semi-regular. You see them every 3 months. The only people there were people getting hats. So it was just like 10 people sitting in a group, all with the same like book hat on.
That looks so good.
There were many jokes about it being a cult, and I was like, no, we're not a cult, because at least 3 times this year there have been books where there's like a cult in them, and we're now looking out for it when we read a book. We're like, is there a sex cult in this book? Is this what's happening? But no, thankfully, not this time.
You just now have your own uniform.
Yes, exactly. So we made a joke about reading the Twilight series for a book club next year. Not so much as a joke, but like as an opportunity to be mad at something as a group. And we were saying like, oh, if we do that, a lot of people are going to come to that one for people who actually like the book. And then as like maybe like 10 minutes into the meeting, all of us pull our hats out and then we just start going off on the book. We're not going to, probably. But isn't it a funny idea to just bombard strangers with our opinions on a Stephanie Meyer's book? Oh, speaking of books.
Actually, I was going to say...
One more.
Speaking of cults.
Oh, God.
This is going to loop back around to my last knitting project that I'm working on. Did I send you that? I think it was an Instagram reel about the gnome minister cult?
No.
I'm gonna have to send it to you.
Okay, yes.
I think my husband sent it to me,
Oh.
but it was really funny. And at the end, they're like chanting in a like ring around the rosy kind of circle. We are not a cult. We are not a cult. But anyway, anytime anyone sees something gnome related, they obviously send it to me. Yesterday at the store, Linda was so sweet. She gave me this bar soap that was gnome, like a gnome bar soap.
Like a shape like a gnome?
It was inside, so it had like a gnome on front, and it was like gnome, blah blah blah. But inside, it was a circle and a toadstool.
Oh, that's cute.
But anyway, anytime she's like, I saw it and I just had to give it to you. And I was like, yes, anytime anyone sees gnome things. So that brings me to, I started my final gnome of the year. It's so exciting. It's a mystery, another mystery knit along, called Gnandad's Adventure, Gnandad's Grand Adventure, something like that. Gnandad Adventure by Sarah Shira. And it's been fun so far. So I'm sorry that I don't have like the little hat to show, but maybe we can put a picture in.
Yeah, put a picture.
But yeah, next time I see y'all, I'll be done with my gnomes.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about it at the end. But
book time.
Yes, book time. Stephen King's The Shining. My version of it is the Barnes & Noble version of it. It's actually those 3 books, his first 3 books. But The Shining is this much of it. So, like, this is 2 books here, and that's The Shining.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you can see this is it.
Chunky.
Which is funny, I didn't realize that because this is obviously from the library, an old copy. And a new novel by the author of Carrie and Salem's Lot.
Yeah, that's
Interesting.
That's cool, right?
Yeah.
I love it. I thought it was great.
I will say I was a newbie. I went in because I never read it. I've never seen the movie.
Fair.
So I didn't really know what to expect other than it was Stephen King and that it was at a hotel and that Jack Nicholson was in the movie.
True.
If we had done this a week ago, and I hadn't finished, I finished last night, but Thursday. Where I was last week, I will say that I didn't dislike the book, but I wasn't that jazzed about it.
That's fair.
I generally don't mind slow burns, but it took me a while to feel like gripped.
That's reasonable. I think it. Obviously, I mean, I watched the movie decades ago. That dates me. That makes me feel old, but I'm not that old, so I can still say decades and I'll feel fine about it. But like, I watched it when I was a child, and part of it was like, I know that this is a story about somebody slowly going crazy, and knowing that, it was a little easier to be like, I can track. And I think Stephen King is really good at character stories, so character-driven stories, and I think this is a really good example of one, of like, this guy thinks he's good, and he's not really, like, he's not inherently a bad person, but the actions that he takes subconsciously and consciously put him in a worse situation, and you can see him going more crazy throughout the book, like, irrespective of the influence of the Overlook.
And I mean, that makes me think of 2 things. One is, I actually don't really like either books or TV movies that you see someone slowly deteriorating and their life going to shit like that.
Yeah.
That is something that I don't enjoy watching or reading. So that could be part of my problem, where I was like
Yeah.
Like, I hate when people continue to make bad choices.
Yeah.
Like, this wasn't as bad as like some things like Breaking Bad, or
True.
when you're just like,
Why do you keep doing this?
Are you continuing to choose poorly for yourself and your family?
That's one.
But the other thing was, I also pretty early on, I was like, I don't know if I really like any of the characters in this. Like not like they were bad characters, but just like I didn't.
Nobody was compelling you.
Yeah, I mean, like the kid Danny, he's probably like the one that you're really like, oh, he's a good.
Yep.
He's like a good
five.
person.
It's hard to
he's
hate.
5. You can't really hate him. Yeah. But he's a little weird.
Yeah. That's fair.
So I just didn't necessarily like feel connected to any of the characters, and obviously like Jack is a little unstable,
right?
A lot unstable, right. And even Wendy I didn't like very much, the wife. So yeah. Anyway, and the book is mostly those 3.
Yeah, that's fair. I will say my favorite character is probably Jack Torrance. Not because he's a good person or because I'm rooting for him, but I really like the way that it's set up. That he knows he has done bad things, but then refuses to take any responsibility for it. Even to the point where there's a scene in the book that's not in the movie that talks about his childhood, and when he's going through and just be like, oh yeah, my dad beat my mom to death right in front of me. So that happened, I guess. And then he just moves on and doesn't acknowledge that maybe that's where his aggression issues come from, or his alcoholism, or his, like, none of that. He just goes, man, they put alcohol in front of me and I just couldn't stop the pull. And it's like, man, you are just a bad person. Like, you think that you don't think that you're a bad person, or you think bad things happen to you, and so you don't adjust the way that you react to things. And like, he did stop drinking. That was something he actively worked towards. When bad things happened to him, he stopped doing that, and he was doing really well. He still had aggression, obviously, but like, he had tried to make an effort, and then he was put in this situation with Supernatural, was actively fighting to make his life worse, and he buckled and he broke. So I thought that was like man's struggle failure because of external forces. And I like that as a character.
Yeah, I mean, I will say it's like fabulously done. But again, it's probably, for me, it's I really hate watching somebody's life like go off the rails.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. How did you feel about the ending? About how he became an animated corpse for the hotel and then it blew up?
I mean, it didn't bother me, I guess.
So I will say that the Stacks did this book club on Thursday, and there were also mixed reviews for this book. But something that somebody pointed out to me that I didn't realize, like I wasn't thinking about it when I was reading it, is it is very telegraphed what's going to happen to the hotel. Like, what's the caretaker? Not the caretaker's name.
Ullman? No, Watson.
Watson, yes. I thought it was Watson. I didn't want to be wrong. But Watson was like, yeah, you got to make sure you do this, or it's going to blow you to sky high. Ooh, I wonder what's going to happen. Like that. That is what's going to happen. But I was, when I started reading it, because I read the first 200 pages in 2 days, so I was a little speedy through it without thinking about it. It didn't occur to me, because spoiler alert, that's not what happens in the movie. And so
I ruined it for me.
Did I?
No. The movie.
I'm so sorry. It's different, and I think the ending of the movie is better.
Oh, interesting.
So,
okay.
But the sequel to this, Dr. Sleep, has to reconcile with that. The sequel to the book and the movie has to reconcile with the fact that it's different from the book.
So I learned today there was a sequel.
Yes.
Is there a sequel movie as well? Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, and that's what has to like kind of piecework together a story a little bit because it is different. Like character motivation, like the movie and the book, I consider them separate things because the premise is there, but the like, it's just slightly like there's less explanation in the movie, and then there's more atmosphere, so it's different, not necessarily better. The ending, I will say, is better, but only because it's a little easier to put that emotional effect into a movie than it is for a book. And the book ending is a little more action-y, whereas the movie ending is a little bit more... Well, actually, now that I think about it, they're both kind of action-y, but just in different ways.
Okay. I'm excited to watch the movie.
It's a good movie.
Maybe tomorrow. But this morning, my husband showed me the Simpsons version called The Shinning because they don't want to get sued.
Right.
So anyone who's a Shining fan maybe wants to, I mean, it was like 7 minutes long or something. It was very short, but it's worth a look if you're interested. The other thing I'll say about this book is I didn't go in with a lot of expectations, but I did expect to be really creeped out or freaked out.
Yeah.
Like to be jumpy, to not want to read it alone at night.
Yeah.
I had none of that issue.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's just because that's not what this book is.
So, this is something I found out at the Stacks Book Club, because they all do really good research there, and I learned a lot of things about this book and the movie that I did not know before. Stephen King, after writing this, wrote like, I don't remember what he was writing to, but he was basically like, yeah, I didn't realize I was an alcoholic while I was writing this book. But he realized it after it was done. He was like, I was writing about myself and my own struggle with alcoholism. And so I think a big part of this book and the feeling that a lot of people at the book club got was that it was just him trying to get that feeling out, like a way to express the pull of alcoholism on the person's mind. And so I think parts of it were sensationalism, like the dog guy character. I think that was supposed to be creepy to the reader, or like it's crazy what a person can become when they want something, or when they're being compelled by a malevolent spirit. But like, I don't think that there was anything that was especially supposed to be gross, or like, I think it was overall supposed to just be like a descent into madness. And so it's different from like The Stand, which I think was no, it wasn't his next book. Whatever. The Stand, which is very viscerally gross in a lot of the parts. Or It, which is an inherently creepy, individualized character. Well, actually, I haven't read It, the book, mind you. But I'm thinking of Pennywise being like, that is intentionally supposed to scare people. Whereas The Overlook was trying to pick apart a single person or a family of 3 people. And so it's a little more targeted. So it's harder to connect to that. I really like Stephen King. I guess I don't really have anything else to say. I like a slow burn.
I do too. So. I'm a huge, well, not all of his books, but a huge John Grisham fan, and I feel like he's good with this. Like he's a slow burn kind of guy. Probably for me, it was the slow burn watching somebody's life go badly, like and knowing that it's not going to end well.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, because a lot of John Grisham books, it's a slow burn. Obviously, there's a lot of crap that happens, but in the end, usually the protagonist
comes up better on the
other side, or wins the court case, or whatever. It might not be like 100% happy roses, but the individual person triumphs in their own way.
Right.
Generally.
That's fair.
Whereas this one, you're just like, I don't see this turning around.
Yeah.
And I actually, at some point in time, thought they were all going to die.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously, I knew that they couldn't because I knew there was a sequel.
But I didn't know that.
Yeah, you didn't know that going in. So you were like, what's going to happen to this family? What's going to, And I will say that in general in Stephen King, you never know who's going to live and who's going to die. Mm-hmm. And so part of me didn't know. I knew that Danny was going to make it out because Danny is the protagonist of the sequel. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know if Wendy was going to make it or Jack. I didn't know if they were going to deviate from the ending so hard or keep it. I didn't know what was going to happen. Mm. And so, except for Danny. I knew Danny was going to make it and that was it. So I was happy and not disappointed, but confused. Parts of it, I was like, what are they going to do to get rid of this character or to keep this character here or stuff like that. So it still kept me on my toes. So how do you feel about Wendy's character as a mother?
Like I said, I didn't really like Wendy that much. Mm-hmm. I didn't think she was very likable. Yeah. And I didn't think she was super maternal. Mm-hmm. She obviously loved her son and wanted, she had the, protective instinct going on for him. But I don't know. I mean, I didn't, see her as, a mother figure, per se. I feel like she read more like Jack's wife than she did Danny's mother.
That's fair.
Which makes sense because Jack is the one that's deteriorating and going crazy.
Yeah, that's true. They never really had to I guess they did have to take care of Danny, but it was just freaking out about him and taking him to the doctor. Mm-hmm. There was no in-story maintenance of how he's feeling. Mm-hmm. I think she came to terms with that he had psychic powers pretty easily.
I was actually surprised about that. They're this tracks. I'm what?
Yeah. Well, I think part of it, obviously it's a book, but she could feel something was off. Mm. And she, I think, really only came to terms with it on the last day that they were able to leave, right? It was, I'm maybe mixing up the order of things, but Jack was already in the library basement looking at the microfiche of the newspapers when she was driving him to the store. Oh, maybe it was a separate day.
This was early on in the book?
It was before they got snowed in.
Right.
So
the first third, maybe.
Yeah. And she... Yeah, I mean, it had to be before they were snowed in. But, because it was in the car driving to the town. But I can't remember if it was on, the last day that they could possibly have left or if it was... no, it couldn't have been because Jack was cutting up the topiaries when that was happening because Danny was telling Mom he's in danger, bad things are happening right now. So that's right. But she found out he was psychic, saying all these negative things, and then she just went back to the hotel. Your 5-year-old is saying hey, this is really bad, but I don't know. Because part of it was Danny was saying, no, we can't leave Dad, but he's 5. So maybe you do that anyway, right?
Right, yeah. He shouldn't be the one calling the shots.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think if we're adding things to a character that Stephen King himself might not have thought of, I think Wendy was depressed.
I mean, that tracks with real life, right? It's hard being married to somebody who's an
abusive alcoholic husband, abusive mother. Was her father? He died. He died when she was young.
Yeah.
And she got married in the first year of college, second year of college.
Young.
Yeah, got married young. Husband abusive towards herself and the child. Verbally abusive to her as well, even when he was sober. So I think she had the fight taken out of her, but not to the extent with Jack's mother, where Jack's mother was like actively, as he was killing her, saying like, "Oh, your father would hate this." And so I think that it's a story of like getting better with the next generation. For Wendy's part, it's about getting better for the next generation, because every time that she thought of her mother, she was like, "Oh, I don't want that. Like, I don't want to be that person who's shitting on my child or like horribly abusive."
Yeah.
And so I thought that part of it was good, but I feel like she made a lot of mistakes early on. But it's like, you could have avoided this situation if you had used your brain at all.
Yeah.
And then Danny's a 5-year-old, so can't.
I mean, I kept forgetting that he was like, I guess early on in the book, I was like, did I read that he was 5? Like, he's acting like he's like 9 or 10.
Yes.
So he's he's more independent, more...
Well, you have to, so this was I feel like it's a common thought for Danny, like he's older than he is. Stephen King's son was 5 years old when he was writing this. But also, he can read minds. Intrinsically and on purpose, he can read people's thoughts and emotions and their intentions and all these things that like people aren't telling him directly, but he's able to know the general feeling of what people are going through. And so even though he can't read the words written on a sign that Tony shows him, he knows that, oh, that's danger. So it's like he's being overly exposed, and he's maturing faster than a normal 5-year-old would.
And I would say being the son of like an alcoholic father also kind of forces you to grow up a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Can we talk about Tony for a minute?
Yes, let's talk about Tony.
So Tony is Danny's imaginary friend.
I think.
I
Imaginary
thought Tony was bad.
Yes, I think that you're intentionally
supposed to think
yes.
that. Yeah, I was like, Danny needs to stop calling Tony. He needs to stop talking to him.
Yes.
Tony's only gonna like hurt him.
And I think that a major reason that is because we don't see the parts of Tony where he was showing him positive images. Because the doctor talked about it after the medical examination. I'm using one finger because that's what they do in the movie. This is how Tony talks in the movie.
Oh.
So the child actor puts on like a demon voice and moves his finger, and that's Tony talking.
Oh, interesting.
It's a little creepy, but he's 5, so it's okay. The doctor talks about like when they started to see Tony, like when did he come up, and they were like, oh, he's kind of always just been there. But then after after Jack gets fired and they move across country is when they started getting those negative images and started getting the premonitions of divorce and the premonitions of like being attacked and stuff like that. So beforehand it was, oh, my dad's watch, that's where he left his watch, or that's, you know, a thing that's happening in the living room, or oh, the thing my dad lost, it's under the stairs. Like, not inherently negative or positive. And then when he's even younger, it was always positive images. Like, oh, your mother loves you, or they're thinking about you in the living room. And so as negative things were happening, Tony was trying to prepare him for, you need to be aware of this is going to happen to you so that you don't die. And it worked.
Yeah.
Yay! Good job, Tony.
But like, it turned out that Tony was just a future him. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think.
I thought that was kind of weird. I was like, I don't know.
haven't read Dr. Sleep, so I don't know how well he integrates that. But like, I will say, like, Stephen King was not thinking about Dr. Sleep when he was writing this.
Right.
So it feels kind of contrived to just make it himself from the future.
But it is what it is. Like, you gotta have a plot device, right, guys?
Yeah.
Everybody at the book club really liked the cook.
I was gonna say he was maybe my favorite character.
Okay, so you weren't alone in that thought. A lot of people really liked him, and why wouldn't you? But they also said he falls into the magic black man trope, which is true, 100%. Unfortunately, right? It's the 70s, but that's no excuse because it was negative back then. We just didn't. I don't know when the trope arrived.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I don't know much about that other than what it is and that it exists.
Essentially just a expositional person who's black is like magic based and they're a guide and all this, literal mumbo jumbo.
Yeah.
Which is a negative, but he also does end up saving the day and does resist the power of the Overlook there at the end, which is pretty great. Mm-hmm. It's a plus for his character. Now,
he was just likable. I don't know. He just was like,
I agree. And to me, it felt like he was just like I don't know. He felt like, I'm the only one who can do anything about this right now. Mm-hmm. He tried calling the police. He tried calling Ullman. He tried doing all this stuff. Well, did he try calling Ullman?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. I think he called he made a flight. He called the police. The police were like, we can't do anything. We got some other stuff going on. He's like, well, if they die, it's on you. I'm going to go there anyway. And I think the biggest part is that he stood up to the Overlook. Like, the Overlook was like, well, if you kill him now, then then everything will be fine. And he's just like, no.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty good. Saved the day, stuck around afterwards, became like a new father figure to Danny.
So something that I was interested in was Grady, the prior caretaker, that also went crazy and killed his family. So with Jack and Danny, the Overlook really wanted Danny.
Yes.
Wanted his power. I don't exactly know how that worked, but I guess the only way he could get to Danny was through his father killing him.
Or bringing him to us, because they didn't actually want him to kill Danny. Like, I feel like that there was a line in it that said, like, bring the boy to us. Bring the boy. And I'm like, how he's already been there like 2 months. What are you talking about?
Where else does he need to go? But anyway, I guess I was just curious how much of that was obviously the Overlook likes to mess with people and like make them go crazy and like whatever, but like, was there any element of that in Grady's family that also, like, the Overlook really wanted maybe the wife or the I think it was a daughter.
Two daughters.
Daughters.
Yeah, wasn't it? It was 2 daughters in the book? I can't remember. Now I'm conflating the book and the movie.
But yeah, I was just curious how many parallels were there, and also like because there's this element of, you almost think it's like fate that brings the family there, and is like the Overlook like drawing that family in.
I would say yes. I would say, and some people in the book club said this as well, that where does the influence from the Overlook begin? Because was there really a reason that Jack beat up that student? Like, was it from that point that they were like, we know that your son is powerful, we're going to drag you guys in so you'll have a reason to come here? Because why would Al was connected to it, like, was, it was just too many coincidences for it to be wholly unrelated, or like, and there was like a whole thing. And then the idea that
the hotel is just a malevolent force. Like the inhuman places make inhuman monsters. So like no matter who's there, someone is going to go crazy, or murder, death, and badness will happen in that space. And then the proximity to Danny and his battery-like entity is just going to amplify that. It's going to make the malevolent spirits of the Overlook Hotel want it more, and then put an active role into making it happen. So, like, Danny, by proxy being there, made it worse. Because Halloran was like, well, nothing here can hurt you.
So wrong.
You'll be fine. Nothing here can touch you. It's just pictures in a book, right? Because for Halloran, it was. His shining wasn't strong enough to make the hotel want to actively hurt him.
Right.
But Danny, being so powerful, gave like a leaky battery, I guess, gave the Overlook more power in order to manifest its evil. And so I think that the hotel wanted him so badly so that it could become a physical entity. So that like it could project its evil to widen its borders or whatever. And so I think that it's hard to tell where Jack Torrance began and or ended and the hotel began.
Yeah. Interesting.
Right.
I mean, overall, I think the book was an enjoyable read. I would say it's like a classic. So would encourage, if you haven't read it, to read it, and just at least like know that it's not super gory or
That's fair.
super like jump scary kind of. I had no problems reading this while I was alone in the house or anything like that. So, I mean, if you're super sensitive to it, maybe. But
or if you don't like the idea of abuse, because there's a lot of
trigger
abuse
warning
in this book.
Yeah,
there's a lot of different varieties of abuse as well.
But overall, yeah, would recommend.
I'm actually gonna put I'm gonna put a little note at the front of the book video. Trigger warning.
Trigger warning. Yeah, that's fair.
Because I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, I didn't either until you just said that. But anyway, we actually don't know what book we're going to read next.
True.
Today we're talking about this in Knit Group. And we'll pick our new book.
Yeah.
So it's first time it's a mystery.
I know. So we were playing around with the idea of it last time, but doing like a year in review of the books that we've read. So I've read 84 books this year. I did not reach my goal. My goal was 100. I know. I slowed down in October when work got busy. But I did read a lot of books this year, so I probably won't go through all of them. But luckily, book club, the end of the year, we did a tier maker of all the books that we've read.
Oh.
And so I have a list of like 5 S tier books to talk about or to mention and give like a synopsis of. And then probably like 3 or 4 of the ones that I read on my own that weren't in book club.
Well, maybe let's early January do that.
Yeah. Because, I mean, probably for Knit Group, we usually give about 2 months, right?
Yeah, so it'll be a while.
Our January will be that year in review, and then February will be new book. Mystery book.
I mean, I have really enjoyed, not the Stacks, but the other local bookstore has been posting on their Instagram their employees' top 5 reads of the year.
The Stacks also did that.
Oh, okay. I don't follow Stacks.
That's right.
And I've enjoyed looking through what people's like top reads were.
Yeah.
So anyway, that could be fun.
Okay. Well then, see you guys next time.
And don't forget to like
and subscribe.
Bye.